When you go to the pharmacy, have you ever really thought about what's going on behind that counter? It's not just a place of precision anymore. It's a place of some seriously powerful tech. So today, we're going to dive into this robotic revolution happening in our pharmacies. And we're going to use a company called ScriptPro to see exactly how this whole thing works. Let's do it.
So before we even get to the robots, let me ask you, what do you think is the single biggest challenge for your local pharmacy today? Is it the long lines you sometimes have to wait in? Maybe it's the constant worry about making a mistake? Or just the sheer overwhelming number of prescriptions they have to fill every single day? Well, the truth is, it's all of that. And it all adds up to create this environment of just intense pressure. And that pressure, that's really where our story kicks off. Because the modern pharmacy, it's basically become a pressure cooker. And the stakes, well, they couldn't be any higher.
I mean, think about it. Every single day, pharmacies are dealing with this perfect storm of challenges. They're trying to fill a mountain of prescriptions, and they have to do it with near-perfect accuracy because, a single mistake can have huge consequences. Then you throw in things like staffing shortages and trying to manage this super complex inventory, and what you get is a system that's constantly on the verge of being completely overwhelmed.
And here's the real kicker in all of this. That highly trained pharmacist, the person you trust for actual medical advice, is spending the vast majority of their day just counting pills. It's kind of crazy, right? All that expertise is getting bogged down by a repetitive task that, let's be honest, a machine could probably do better and a whole lot faster.
Okay, so how do you break out of that cycle of pressure and inefficiency? Well, the answer is pretty clear. You find the bottleneck and you automate it. And that is where the robots finally make their entrance.
The whole solution really starts by going after the single biggest time suck, the main bottleneck, that simple but incredibly repetitive job of counting pills and filling up those little vials. And this is exactly where a company like ScriptPro comes into the picture, with technology, a robot, designed to do just that one thing perfectly. And the way it works is actually beautiful in its simplicity. So, the robot gets an order from the system. Its arm goes and grabs the right medication, it counts out the pills with incredible precision, and then it fills the vial and slaps a label on it. And the best part? The whole thing happens without a human hand ever having to touch a single pill. And it does this at a speed that's just wild. We're talking about a single robot filling around 150 prescriptions an hour. Let that sink in. That's more than 2 every single minute. Now that is how you start to tackle those massive prescription volumes we were talking about.
But look, speed doesn't mean anything if it's not safe, right? Especially in a pharmacy. And that's why this next number is so important. The robots hit a counting accuracy of 99.7%. That level of precision is just incredible, and it basically eliminates the risk of simple human error, making the whole process way safer for you, the patient.
Okay, so having a super efficient robot is awesome, but it's really just one piece of the puzzle. The real game changer, the big transformation, happens when you connect that robot to a central digital brain that can manage the entire operation. So to really get why this digital brain is such a big deal, we need to talk about a problem the industry calls workflow fragmentation. Just imagine trying to run an airport where the ticketing system, the baggage handling, and the air traffic control tower all use totally different software that can't talk to each other. It would be absolute chaos, right? Well, believe it or not, that's kind of how a lot of pharmacies have been operating for years. It's a total recipe for inefficiency and worse, for making mistakes. And this really shows you the difference in a nutshell. On one side, you've got the old way, a messy tangle of different systems, lots of manual handoffs. But on the other side, you've got this new, integrated approach. It's one single, unified platform that tracks a prescription automatically from the second it comes in to the moment you walk out the door with it. And here's a really crucial point. This system isn't just watching what the robots do. Nope. It creates a complete 100% auditable trail for every single prescription that goes through the pharmacy. Doesn't matter if it was filled by a robot or by a human technician. What that gives you is total visibility and total control over the entire workflow.
So, okay, the tech is smart, it's integrated, but is it reliable? Because in healthcare, reliability isn't just a nice-to-have, it's absolutely non-negotiable. So let's actually look at the data because it shows that these systems are, well, they're built to last.
Check this out. This statistic is it's amazing. 91% of the robots that ScriptPro installed way back in 1998 are still working today. Think about any piece of tech you owned in 1998. That kind of longevity, that level of reliability is something you almost never see. And that incredible lifespan translates directly into being super affordable. So, after that first investment, those original workhorse robots now cost the pharmacy only about $2 an hour to run. That is a seriously sustainable and cost-effective solution when you look at it over the long haul.
And of course, today's systems are even more impressive. You're looking at over 99.4% uptime, meaning they're almost never down, and that same 99.7% counting accuracy. This is basically constant readiness. And again, in the world of healthcare, these numbers aren't just cool features on a brochure, they are fundamental to keeping patients safe.
So what's the big picture here? What's the total impact of all this? Well, when you put it all together, the robots and that smart integrated software, a pharmacy can end up automating the filling for up to 75% of all its prescriptions. 75%! That frees up a just massive amount of human time and brain power.
And that, right there, brings us to our final and honestly most important section. Because you have to ask, what happens with all that time that just got freed up? Well, this is where the entire role of the pharmacist gets completely reimagined. Because this is the real goal, the most important outcome of all. This was never, ever about replacing people with robots. It's about elevating people. The whole point is to free pharmacists from doing the repetitive work of a technician so they can finally step into the role they were trained for, to be true clinical experts.
And this chart just lays out that transformation perfectly. You know, before automation, a pharmacist's day is just buried in all these manual, repetitive tasks. But after automation, the whole thing flips on its head. Their time is suddenly free to focus on high-value work, like actually talking to patients, consulting with them, and helping manage their care.
And this is what all of this really means for you. Next time you walk into a pharmacy, it means you get more face-to-face time with your pharmacist. It means better safety and more support for your specific health needs. And at the end of the day, it adds up to a healthcare experience that's just safer, more personal, and a whole lot more effective.
So this kind of technology is really setting a brand new standard for what a pharmacy can and should be. And it leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As this kind of automation becomes the new normal, what other new and vital roles will our pharmacists start to play in the future of our entire healthcare system?